Alrighty, here we go. Today is Wednesday, November 10th, 2021. This is an exclusive astrology video. We're talking about our forthcoming eclipse season, ongoing through the end of 2021 into the start of 2022. Okay, now I have this set up so I can share my screen here. So we're going to go ahead and give this a shot. All right. Now we should be looking at our forthcoming lunar eclipse in Taurus. Now what we're going to see coming up here in just a few days is the sun is going to transit into Sagittarius, and then we will see the sun transit into the sign of, all right, the sun will conjoin the moon's south node on the 23rd of November. Okay, so twice a year when we see the sun aligning with the moon's nodes, this means that we have our biannual eclipse season. So this next solar eclipse in Sagittarius will be on December 4th. Now, what makes this particular eclipse season so unique is that we have the moon's nodes completing their transit of the Gemini-Sagittarius polarity, which has been ongoing this last year and a half. The moon's north node will enter into Taurus on January 18th and remain there through July of 2023. Now, what makes this particular eclipse season therefore special is we're going to see coming up here in just about a week a lunar eclipse in Taurus on the north node of the moon. This is why I am suggesting that this lunar eclipse in particular can be heralding and foreshadowing the forthcoming period where the moon's nodes will be in the Taurus Scorpio polarity. Now, the moon's nodes are some of the most important indicators in astrology. Not all astrologers are talking about the transiting moon's nodes, but these very much affect our collective consciousness. The moon's nodes does reflect the evolutionary intentions of the collective. Now, as the moon's north node is completing Gemini, we are wrapping up these Gemini-Sagittarius lessons. Now, it is as if the collective is more in a philosophical, mental realm this last year and a half. And this has been where some of the challenges and the chaos that we have experienced has taken place. Think of the amount of debate around science, the controversy around vaccination and COVID. You know, when these nodal themes were first being introduced, here in the United States, we still had Donald Trump as president. There was all of this talking about fake news, and this has largely been some of this collective evolutionary theme. This last year and a half, we've had to discern what's the truth. And where do we get our information? And who are our teachers? And who are our real friends? And there can be particular understandings of our world, how we relate to other people, how we function as a multi-composite human being that has multiple parts of ourselves, multiple interests and multiple needs, and how we are connecting with others in the world. Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, is like the phone operator god. So we're really mastering now how to interconnect these different dimensions so that way we can be truly informed and also have a healthy discernment. So to be able to relate with others and share information in the world. Okay, so this North Node in Gemini has been initiating us into how to use our mind, how to use our words, how to connect with others in a way that is allowing for this discovery of wisdom and knowledge. And this is what we actually have the opportunity to see come into a level of completion or mastery. See, when the moon's north node is in the early degrees of any sign, what that means is that we're actually completing this whole phase. And this is actually true in any person's natal chart. Say you see somebody who has their moon's nodes at 0 degrees of any polarity. What that means is that soul has already been evolving on this evolutionary polarity for lifetimes, and there can be a theme of mastery, culmination, and completion. What that means is that before we complete any particular season, there is a building up of intensity of those lessons or those themes. So we're really getting to get into the mastery of Gemini, while the moon's north node completes Gemini through the end of this year and the start of 2021. This is gnosis, this is wisdom, this is like the light of awareness. The evolutionary function of Gemini is to break apart the surrounding environment into bits and pieces of information so to truly comprehend the world, our relationship to the world and all of its parts. There's been a theme of understanding the total diversity of human experience and the expressions of nature. So Gemini has this theme of understanding diversity, understanding circumstance, that we do not necessarily have a one-size-fits-all perspective or understanding of life, but rather we're learning about life in this ever new, ever fresh, experiencing what life is and then learning from that particular experience. So something we've all learned in this last year and a half is that there are different people with different experiences, different perspectives and different truths, and this is not a problem. We're learning to function as a multi-composite human and a multi-composite species. So there is not one singular truth. And we're learning how to embody our unique path through life where we're learning from experience and then gaining knowledge. This is what the path of gnosis is all about. Now, as I mentioned, this forthcoming lunar eclipse is going to introduce the nodal polarity of Taurus and Scorpio, which will take us from 2022 into 2023. I think there's something very, very special about this Gemini-Taurus cusp. And what this Gemini-Taurus cusp can very much be about is it is the actual taking of this knowledge and taking of this learned understanding of life and actually embodying it. Taurus is about embodiment. It's about the actual crystallization of consciousness into form. Taurus is an earth sign. And so this type of embodying and not just talking about it, but being it. Moving from dreaming and speculation and the mental realm and what is possible into the actual anchoring of this knowledge and understanding into the earth. And a part of what we're all going to be learning this coming year and a half, 2022 into 2023, is how to function in a healthy, harmonious relationship with the earth, our body, and form in time. That means we're really going to be learning about what we need on an individual biological level. This is what Taurus is. Now, through these coming years, you're going to hear me talk about particular perspectives which may be a little bit different than some of what we've heard in the more traditional spiritual practices and beliefs that have been ongoing throughout the patriarchy. Because we all know during the masculine energy dominant patriarchy, there was a movement away from Taurus consciousness. that really had its heyday back in the age of Taurus. This was the heyday of Egypt and Babylon. Most of us know Babylon as if Babylon were a negative thing or a negative word or a time period that was very corrupt. That is coming from the transition from age of Taurus into age of Aries. At the end of every astrological age, there is this type of corruption and distortion that forces the evolutionary lessons and transition into the forthcoming age. So, for example, we are at the tail end of Pisces. So many of us would like to jump and skip into the Aquarian age, but we will not do so until we tie up the evolutionary lessons from the age of Pisces. Well, the Pisces age was the Christian era. Had so much to do with sacrifice, surrender, blind faith, trust. There's a lot of these lessons in Pisces age religion. And many of these Pisces age religious beliefs have found their way and trickled their way into New Age spiritual or alternative beliefs that carry a similar blind faith or trusting in that which we cannot see, or simply praying or aligning to the right thing, and then some type of ascension will happen and the God will carry us into the chosen land. We'll go to heaven, which in the Pisces age we really saw as something outside of the earth. Heaven was somewhere else. Well, the Taurus age spirituality was quite different. In Egypt and Babylon, there was a huge emphasis on the body, on sensuality, and embodiment. And so some of what I'm going to be sharing with you here and now is that through the coming year and a half, we're going to really learn how to honor our bodies as being a vehicle that is at the absolute forefront of our own spiritual healing and evolution. What I like to say is that the spiritual journey and the healing journey are non-different. They're exactly the same. And as our consciousness, quote unquote, is evolving and developing, what it actually is we're learning how to take care of our bodies. So our bodies can be healthy containers to integrate, you could say, higher and higher consciousness or greater amounts of divine creative power. Now, the healing journey is the same as the spiritual journey, and so this is going to be the marked direction of where this healing and spiritual journey is going to take many of us this coming couple of years. We're going to be healing from the traumas of the past, where there was interferences that prevented the healthy embodiment of our consciousness, so that way we can anchor to this earth a new world, a new way of being. Taurus has everything to do with resources. Venus, the ruler of Taurus, is the principle of resonance, the principle of reciprocation, all sound, all vibration. When we talk about resonance, this is a Venus function. And the higher octave of Venus is Neptune. So the senses, sound, vibration, and how things relate is very much in the realm of Venus, the feminine, how we tune in. The feminine principle is how we tune within. Taurus is the inner side of Venus. It is how we are cultivating an anchor and a stability through a self-connection. And this is how we cultivate a healthy spiritual practice. This is how we cultivate a healthy connection to the earth, because even the word spirituality or spiritual practice can be quite misleading. We're cultivating a healthy connection to the earth, what it means to be a human being, what it means to have our feet on the earth, means that we are living a divine experience. We are anchoring love. We are anchoring provision. Okay. The fixed cross, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, is the zodiac signs most embodied by humankind. The fixed cross is the actual creative, innovative, destructive potency. So to use our own innovative and creative skills to transform reality. And the Taurus side of this fixed cross is the actual bodily, embodied anchoring of consciousness to the face of the earth. It is said that human beings are the tenants. We are the gardeners of this earth. That's what we're going to be really getting into, being foreshadowed and heralded by this forthcoming Taurus lunar eclipse on November 19th. The wisdom of Taurus is the wisdom of simplicity. How we are anchoring greater and greater power into our bodies, so to transform the face of the earth need not be complex, need not be overwhelming. Rather, it is using the body senses and creature comforts to relax into being greater and greater vessels of consciousness, is what we're learning. And again, this brings this down to the earthy biological level. This is where there's going to be so much grace and so much opportunity to discover how we can all live in the world in new and different ways that allows for each of us to meet our unique and particular bodily or sensual needs, which will allow our body to relax into becoming an antenna for electrical streams of consciousness to be anchored through us. So we're relaxing into greater creativity these coming years. We are relaxing into increasing space and slowness. So to be able to actually tune into what is taking place, what is happening in our body, what is happening on the earth, and what do we need to anchor more of what Venus is. Venus is love. Venus is beauty. Venus is pleasure, paradise, and enjoyment. And this is what this earth is meant to be a home, container, and vessel for. Venus is the most important planet in her relationship to the earth, which is why all of the ancient cultures, surviving through witchcraft, surviving through various occult practices and philosophies and branches, and even hidden within religion itself, Christianity, the Quran, Venus is there. So Venus is the pentagram. Venus is the actual expression of beauty on earth. Venus rules life on earth. And this life expression is naturally beautiful. It is naturally in sync with the divine dance. Even when we go through dark ages, such as the one we're crawling out of, even such dark ages are in sync with the divine dance. Even when we lose our wisdom as a species, it is in sync with the divine dance. So there is this hidden beauty and harmony in life itself, in the earth itself, and that is the beauty, the love, the music of Venus. We're learning how to taste this, to anchor this, to be this, and to create this. The North Node moving out of Gemini into Taurus is not about just merely talking about it. It's not just what we get together on weeknights and discuss with our friends. It's getting into the actual lived contact of the beauty of life through the body and senses. And this is a means to raise our consciousness, to raise the level of pleasure, of love, and beauty on this planet. And we should not be deceived into thinking that this is a selfish endeavor. We're really going to be learning to put our own selfish needs first, so that way we can self-initiate Taurus into our own nature being tenets of the earth, and every single individual will have their own unique way of being a gardener on this planet. For some of us, we'll create provision, resources, and abundance through being literal gardeners. For many of us, we're going to be metaphorical gardeners in various ways. We're going to be using technology. We're going to be using the internet. We're going to be connecting with people across the globe who have a similar value system of ourself, who have a similar taste, a similar appreciation to the things that we have a taste and appreciation for. That's where we're going to continue to be gardeners. But there is very much a movement towards learning to take care of ourselves. The coming years are not going to show us any slowing down in terms of what's going on in the world. We're going to have to learn to create slowness ourselves. We're going to have to learn how to take care of our body in a day and age where people do not know how to take care of their body. We're coming out of a Pisces age where we were taught that heaven is somewhere else. We haven't even known that we could create paradise on this planet. And paradise will be different per each and every individual, as every person's love language and biological needs will be different per each and every individual. But as we discover our unique needs, we get to really enjoy this. And as we enjoy this, we'll anchor more creative capability. We'll be able to help more people out later when we have these personal needs very much being addressed and taken care of these next couple of years. Taurus is food, water, shelter, but it's also various human needs for touch, to be held, to have a sense of stability, to have an actual peaceful environment where our senses are not being constantly intruded upon, to have enough space in our life where various people's interferences are not throwing us off track, are not throwing us from our center. So this forthcoming lunar eclipse, 27 degrees Taurus, is going to be showing us what do we need to get back to our center. What is this space that allows for us to tune into ourselves? What does our environment reflect back to us that reminds us of everything that we love, everything that we cherish, and everything that we value? So that, like creating a temple space, we can retreat into our own heart when we need to. That we have the actual physical container to get our feet on the earth. That we have the necessary space and time to relax into our own natural way and pace of living. Taurus rules biological rhythms. The sun rises, the sun sets. We have summer times, we have winter times. We have a need to breathe fresh, clean air. We're going to be learning about the pace and the rate that is natural for us so we can create the containers that allows us to be fully embodied. This is the most important piece, is we're learning to be fully embodied these coming years. And again, this lunar eclipse can be foreshadowing, can be heralding, can be giving us a little bit of a waft, a little bit of a tease of how we're going to or how we need to focus on this type of embodiment. Actually getting our feet on the earth, because this is the need of our species. Folks, the majority of us as a species are not embodied. In fact, I would say hardly any of us are embodied. That means our consciousness is not fully here. We're not fully in our senses. We're not fully in the present moment. You want to know what some of the most useful, life-changing spiritual practice is? Without even having to get into so much religion or so many stories, it's simply using your body and your senses to return to this moment, to return to this space, to actually receive the information that's coming into our body through our senses without being distracted, without being somewhere else, without being in our mind or anxiety or what we need to do next, to actually bring our awareness to our body and senses or what's happening in this present moment. That's it. That's it. That is the spiritual practice that allows us to live our life where we're having an experience. And we're having an experience through our senses, our emotions, and the feedback that's going inside. Moon Venus, the feminine. Through this personal experience and our feeling and sensation of it, we are evolving and growing into our potential. We are initiating ourselves into our potential through simply living life and having experience. A lot of what we've heard in the New Age about choices, about aligning with the right thing, it can be very, very misleading because each of us has a totally unique experience of life. And our path into our power and potential is through living our life. Not living somebody else's life, living our life. Not just believing somebody else's way of becoming embodied, not just following somebody else's curriculum of how to become empowered, because every single path will be unique. That's why we have to bring our consciousness back to our senses, and why we have to regain our sensibility as a species, because our species has lost all sensibility. We've become extremely traumatized and dissociated as a species, losing the feminine, losing the earth, and losing nature, which happened very much at the tail age of Taurus. Quite a number of us out there are actually going to be returning to Babylon, Egypt, the ancient feminine time flows, we could say. We're going to be tuning into this time flow. It's like we're going to feel this mysterious portal open that's going to allow us to tune more into this feminine mystery, Shakti, bodily, sexual, tantric wisdom, which was simply life itself before man-made religion. So we're really going to be opening up this reflecting upon what was this wisdom of consciousness in the body, using our senses, using sexuality, using the earth, using sound, using smell, using touch to transform our reality, to transform our consciousness. And this can very much introduce new awarenesses of what reality even is, of what a human being, a human vessel, a human experience even is. This can be very much evolving, and we can be opening up these doorways and these time flows to days and ages that are buried underneath centuries and thousands of years of trauma. We're returning to our bodies through creating the safe space where we can truly relax, to feel safe, to experience pleasure, where our actual muscles are relaxing and we're allowing ourselves to relax into receiving sensual information, the information of the senses. That's going to allow us to receive more and more information embodied. From North Node Gemini into North Node Taurus, we're going from talking to embodying. Now, these next couple of months, We're also going to see the North Node on this Gemini Taurus cusp. This is a real opportunity to explore this meeting point between wisdom and form, as well as how we can all be much, much more multi-talented than we've been led to believe. We can be taking this diversity of different skill sets, different people, different, teaching institutions that we've been getting more into, or opening that can of worms and letting our curiosity connect these different dots. This can really lead us into being much more multi-talented beings ourselves, where we can actually lay the space and the containers for multiple parts of our own needs and our own consciousness. So for example, we can be teaching courses, we can be painting, we can be doing massage therapy, we can be doing past life regressions, we can be doing psychedelic therapy, we can be doing hypnotherapy, we can be doing sound healing, we can be doing artistic therapy. It's like we are all of these different things. And we can really be allowing for more of ourselves to be established in the world. Again, we're anchoring this consciousness into our body. So we can actually create containers for this. It's like we're going to be creating, in some metaphorical or literal way, a temple for our total beauty, a temple for real gnosis, which is not just a knowledge that we have in our heads. It's a knowledge that can be given and received through the heart. It's a wisdom that is felt through our body. It's a wisdom that can be shared through bodily connection or the senses or physical touch or creating actual things of beauty, such as artwork or pottery that ends up becoming portals that anchors heaven to the earth. That's what we can be tuning into and cultivating at this time, foreshadowing, heralding, and setting the tone for the years to come. Now, I'm realizing I'm talking a lot now, but that's all right. I'm just going to keep going and going. Let's talk about Jupiter right now, okay? Because now through the end of this year, Jupiter is square to the moon's nodes. When planets are square to the moon's nodes, this is a very important indicator. This is not just like, hey, Jupiter square the nodes. Maybe you missed something before, and now you need to be more Jupiter. No, this is going to bring up all sorts of dynamics. And Jupiter square the nodes does rule our forthcoming new moon, which is a total eclipse in Sagittarius. Now, Jupiter square the nodes brings the need to explore, particularly our own philosophical or ontological understanding of what is life. This is not the time to simply assume what is life. This is not the time to simply be absorbed into the hive mind belief system. And we're going to see this robotic hive mind belief system, cult dynamics, one size fits all, I'm right and you're wrong, and this is the only truth and this is the only way. Shadow propensity. Shadow Jupiter, shadow Sagittarius, watch for it. It's going to be up these next few months. And we all have to, therefore, be open-minded. Open-minded to more exploration, open-minded to more experimentation. We need to actually have the lived experience to actually open new doorways and expand into new ways of comprehending what is life and what is the universe. Jupiter square the nodes also can bring up the theme of honesty. What do we actually know? What do we actually understand? Do we know our truth? Or are we uncertain of what is our actual truth and what do we actually want and what are we actually doing? We must be honest about what we know and understand and where we may be confused or uncertain. Because Jupiter square the nodes can be a little bit tricky. It can be a little bit of, I just know what I know because I know it, because that's what my intuition says, and my intuition knows what it knows because it's my intuition. We need to watch out for that right now. because that can be something that could actually be very misleading right now. Jupiter square the nodes, it's like if we're just, as I've been saying, if we're just doing the tail end of Pisces blind faithing all the time, you know, this is like we're in a particular area where our magnets on the earth are messed up, and that compass can be going like all over the place. And that experience of our intuition going back and forth or being all over the place forces an exploration of what is intuition and what is the truth and who are our guides and what are we connected to and where does that information come from, and does information just simply drop from on high because it's true? Again, we are going to actually come into a more embodied understanding of consciousness, and things do have a way of being. Things do have a way of functioning. Things don't just happen because they do, because that's what God said, or that's what's written in the holy book, or that's what the teacher or the cult said, and so we just have to simply assume that that's the truth. Shadow Jupiter, shadow Sagittarius is assumption. Oh, they behave this way because they're a bad person. Oh, but they behave this way because they're a man or a woman. This type of over-assumptiveness can be very much needing a check and an investigation at this time. Now, very interestingly, this lunar eclipse, full moon in Taurus, squares Jupiter and is also conjunct the asteroid Sedna. Now, this Sedna signature, to me, it says something about trauma. It says to me that each and every soul has experienced trauma in a unique way, and that is an isolating experience. Sedna is in Taurus for all souls. Sedna has been in Taurus since her discovery. And there is this connection between the healing of isolation, the healing of PTSD, the creation of safe space, Taurus, so to become embodied in ourselves through the senses. So again, there's going to be some unique PTSD dynamic that, I'll be honest, every single soul on the planet has PTSD right now. Especially, you know, coming out of our past lifetimes that have had a patriarchal disconnect from nature and the earth. And coming back to nature and the earth will therefore be unique for every soul. Every soul's going to have a unique taste. We all like different music, do we not? We all have a different favorite color, do we not? So there's this magic of illuminating what we like, what's tasty to us, can be the means to creating our temple. Becoming a vessel honoring beauty and love within ourselves. And the square to Jupiter here can be tremendously expansive. My goodness, can this be a blessing here? There can be the support of the group. There can be the support of the community. There's new ways to deal with money and resources. We're forming new networks. We're forming a new way of connecting to the earth, so that way we can provide some social benefit. Jupiter square the nodes, this is about creating some type of means to benefit the world. And it is this embodiment into our own temple and this healing that it is selfish, and we need to be selfish, and we have to take care of our own immediate biological needs first. That's the prioritization with Taurus. But this can lead to a very fast expansion of connecting with others who share similar value systems, or being able to create a way to teach or disseminate resources or information or new ways of relating to the earth that can be quite pioneering. See, there's a way of forming a new relation to the earth, money, and resources that is quite pioneering with this Jupiter square. And that's where we cannot assume that we're simply going to do it the old way, or again, how the cult is doing it. It's like there's going to be, for example, you know, a whole community of gardeners or a whole community of artists, and it's very beautiful what they're doing. That's lovely, but it can be pushed further. And if it's not seeking that evolution, if it's not seeking how can we improve, how can we make this system better for the group, that way all the individuals get what they need, there's going to be stagnation. But there's a tremendous opportunity right now for us to explore new and pioneering ways of getting what we need to our bodies: food, medicine, resource, space, property, land, and shelter. And we're all going to get a push towards that direction this coming year and a half. It's going to be interesting to note what's even coming up this month that may be foreshadowing this time to come. Because as the moon south node transits Scorpio 2022 to 2023, I do not suspect COVID's going to go away. I do not think that the major cities where there's an experience of claustrophobia and there's an experience of people being on top of each other and there's an experience of no privacy, I do not think these cities are going to magically turn into healing cities of light the next couple of years. I think there's going to be a lot of density felt in more tight corner, claustrophobic environments. And this is going to push people out of the city living. It's going to force more communal living. It's going to force more tiny homes. It's going to force more roommates. And how can we get the space and the privacy that we need so we can live a more healthy, earth-centric, simple, and abundant lifestyle? This is the reality of Venus, is that when we are healthy and aligned with the earth, we actually experience abundance. Abundance is not what we've been taught in some of the more patriarchal versions, or even just traditional versions of life. Why? Because we didn't have technology. We only could grow so much food. And so there was not this capability to have abundance. The creative, innovative potential of man using technology and resources now is we should be able to create an abundance of resources to provide to the needs of every person. Abundance means overflowing. Abundance does not mean that we just have what we need and I ate enough and sure I'm a little bit hungry, but I'll leave the rest for everyone else. We want to have enough for everyone to be full, for there to be more, and then we've got to figure out what to do with all this extra. That's how the universe is going to support us these coming years. The simplicity of Taurus to focus on what really matters, which is what we really love, what we really are filled up by. That's where we can tune in and create abundance. Okay, and abundance is not distraction. It is the creation of resources that is useful for myself and others. I find that when we have our needs taken care of and we're experiencing abundance, we don't go into addiction. We don't go into distraction. We actually have a very full sense. We feel full. We feel full of energy. We feel full of life. And then like a fountainhead, we distribute that extra, we disseminate that extra energy onto others. And so this is an opportunity for us to create more through a reductionist, through a simplifying process, to tune into what really fills us up, so we can provide it to ourselves in an easy, simple way without having to be overly wrapped up or dependent on others or be really deeply involved, complex, murky, or dark environments or situations. All right, one more astrological gander for this exploration. And that is our forthcoming Venus transit. This forthcoming lunar eclipse in Taurus is ruled by Venus in Capricorn, who will be trine to Uranus exact on the day of the eclipse and square to Chiron. Now, the Venus square to Chiron, which will be exact on November 15th, is an important transit. Why? Because Venus will station retrograde at the very end of this year, 2 days before the winter solstice. Okay, this will be December 19th. Venus stations stations. What's going on here? 2 days before the solstice. Oh, was I wrong about that date? I guess so. No, I'm not wrong. She's stationing retrograde. Okay, what am I thinking? Getting lost here. Anyways, Venus is going to station retrograde, conjunct Pluto on the 19th. Okay. Now she'll move back into a square with Chiron on the 15th. Or I'm sorry, I'm getting my dates messed up again. End of January, start of February. Okay, she stations direct. Good thing we can all see the screen. Okay, so last day of January, 29th, 30th, 31st, she's stationing direct, 11 degrees Capricorn, square to Chiron. Okay, so where Venus is entering her shadow these coming days, on Monday the 15th, she's exactly square to Chiron. There's going to be some themes coming up mid-November that we'll come back to, end of January, beginning of February 2022. Now, this Venus square to Chiron is going to be some theme of healing the heart, as well as a healing of body, sensuality, and resources, money and abundance. We can also be experiencing various levels or experiences of crises in all the above themes: relationship, money, body, sensuality, self-image. See, Venus can sometimes be our own experience of beauty, so we can also be healing our own sense of beauty with a capital B. See, many of us, grew up watching Cosmo magazine, or having a very distorted version of beauty, porn star beauty. It's got to fit this mold. It's got to look like Barbie. So a part of this is going to be healing actual sense of beauty, appreciating our body, appreciating our senses, appreciating creature comforts. Taurus and Venus is makeup. It's clothing. It's feeling good. It's looking good. It's appreciation of ourself and the beauty of others. So there's going to be a healing of that beauty. This can also play out with money and resources. We're really all going to be looking at resources 2022 into 2023. So do we have what we need to feel this support, to feel this abundance, to feel like we can actually trust this flow of energy and resources? Is Venus. So that way we have all that we need. And finally, Venus square to Chiron is certainly a healing of the heart. There can be a little bit of a dancing going on these next several months in terms of relationships. This is going to herald the coming years of Taurus, Scorpio nodal polarity. So much intimacy, intensity, transformation, romance, sexuality, merging of souls, and then too much proximity. I feel claustrophobic. I feel repulsed. I feel overwhelmed. I need space, I need sovereignty, I need time to digest. Taurus, Scorpio polarity. Well, with Venus squaring Chiron throughout her forthcoming retrograde, there's going to be a theme of the coming and the going. Attraction and repulsion. I love you, I hate you. She loves me not. We can be together forever, we need to live in separate houses. We can work together on these things. I need to have my own business in this department. Now, there's going to be a lot of how are we working with others? How are we working in the world? Business associations really going to be looked at with this Venus retrograde period, now through the start of 2022. And very much, this is a time of deepening our soul contracts and who we're committed to. It's exploring contracts and exploring commitments, and Venus in Capricorn really wants it to work. Wants it to work. Wants there to be a sense of stability. Wants there to be a sense of we got each other's backs. And we're going to learn how to take care of each other's needs, Taurus. So that way we can get each other's backs. Venus will be trine to Uranus in Taurus on the lunar eclipse. We're going to be experimenting so we can discover new ways of doing energy exchange. This is money, job, resources, love. We're going to be pioneering. You can bet it's going to change these coming months. how we're doing relationship, how we're doing our job, how we're exchanging energy and resources. And we're moving out of North Node Gemini, talking about it and speculation, into it's not just information exchange, it's about energy exchange now. It's about making it real. It's about bringing it down to the earth so we can actually create the space to anchor heaven. Or to be more realistic, to simply improve our experience of what it means to be humans, both on the individual level and as a species, to remember the wisdom of the earth, to tune our hearts into the center of the earth, to be informed and filled by nature. So that way we can create these containers to anchor the specific energy and consciousness that we want to. And I'm not one of these dreamy, new age, we choose everything we chose to be, or we chose our parents, whatever you want, or manifest, whatever you think about in your mind becomes manifest. No. We have to pay attention to our bodies. I don't remember choosing this body. I was simply born into it. So it's not a choice. It's an inevitability. We have to face our bodies. We have to face our unique and individual needs that will be unique per each and every person and bodily consciousness. That's how we're going to anchor more of this energy to the earth. So that way we can do energy exchange with others in more improved, healthy, harmonious, mutually supportive. Starting to fill our basket now, starting to collect and have a sense of abundance. That way we can take that extra, we can take that abundance, we can put it out there in the world, and then that starts another level of energy exchange. This is how we're going to start to work together as a species to really pull ourselves out of the dark. But are we going to have the challenges? Are we going to remember the dark? Yes. As the South Node transits Scorpio this coming year and a half, as I said, many of us are going to be tuning into the bodily streams of Taurus age consciousness, Venusian consciousness, the divine feminine, Babylon, Egypt, sensuality, sexuality. And as the South Node transits Scorpio, it's going to be like a collective past life regression. Some of us are going to be pulling into our bodies information from past lives or the soul via creating spaces where we feel truly safe, we're truly held enough, it's slow enough, it's stable enough for us to do this deeper soul retrieval work, where our psychic tentacles is going to start pulling information in from other timelines that's going to become anchored in our bodies. Not merely just talked about or speculated about, but made real. As I said, the majority of our species is disassociated from our bodies. The majority of our species is floating out here in anxiety, in paranoia, in fantasy, in delusion. So this is the actual clearing away of the distraction and the interferences to focus on the here, now, the breath, the simple creature comforts, and that's actually going to pull more consciousness into our bodies. It's as if we're more online when we go through this integration process. That means moving down. The future of our evolution is not an ascension. That's where all the dissociated folks are constantly going out of their bodies and having really far out spiritual experiences. But who cares about those spiritual experiences if they're not bringing anything down to the earth? So this is a descension process. We're focusing on our body and senses to anchor more consciousness. And as a result, it's like we see more, we hear more, we breathe in more life, we feel more alive in our heart, and we are able to then communicate with words that carry a vibration and a power that affect the hearts of others. Venus Taurus deals with the electromagnetic field. As we're pulling our consciousness into our earth, it's about energy exchange, not just information exchange. It's about electromagnetism. So that way we can resonate together in a way that's like each of us is going to increase our charge. But in order to increase our charge, it's going to be a focus on survival. It's going to be a focus on the immediate environment, on our bodies. Are we comfortable? Are we getting the nutrition, the nutrients, the nourishment that we will need? And I encourage you to be selfish and allow yourself to explore and discover what you need on the individual biological level, because that's how we can form healthy relationships. That's where this Venus retrograde in Capricorn, these coming months, can be a way of revolutionizing how we're exchanging resources to bring in more stability and have more support in a very pragmatic, practical way. It's like, let's get organized. Let's get down to business. Let's build our temple. Let's build our future lifetimes. Folks, that's what I'm spouting about for this forthcoming Taurus lunar eclipse. Again, this is going to be November 19th. It's early in the AM for those in the United States. So I would say the 18th is when we can really be tuning into this. Create some space and time to really tune into your bodies, to really get a sense of this shift, because man, are things shifting in November of 2021. And this is going to be foreshadowing and introducing some of the themes, taking us from 2022 through mid-2023. Now, I did this exclusive astrology video live stream to YouTube. So for those of you on YouTube right now, congratulations, you're lucky, because I'm going to take this video once it's published and make it not public. These are the types of exclusive astrology videos that goes out to my community every single month. And for $6 a month, you can get this monthly exclusive astrology video. You can also join my community for $12 a month. You'll get this exclusive astrology video as well as a ticket into my monthly Q&A circle, where I do a 10-minute reading per every person. We look at your chart, we can look at transits, and I will answer any question, whether it be about your current life experience, a challenge that you've faced or are facing, or a technical astrology question. Every month I do a live Q&A, $12 a month. Or you're invited to join my $24 a month Astro School, where you get all the above, the exclusive astrology, the monthly Q&A circle. You can bring in a question related to the Astro School that is ongoing. I'm going to complete the planets and the zodiac for the Astro School this month. That means for $24 a month, you can get the entire course curriculum, all the planets, all the signs. There's over a dozen hours of material on the Astro School already, and the curriculum is only going to continue to become developed. And in the coming months, I'm excited to put out videos on the major asteroids: Ceres, Pallas Athena, Juno and Vesta, Chiron, Black Moon Lilith, asteroid Lilith, asteroid Lucifer. I'm going to take all of these asteroids through the signs, through the houses. $24 a month, you can join my Astro School right now and take all of the planets through the signs and the houses in your chart. So you can get all of that information from your birth chart just by joining the Astro School. All right. The Q&A, the date fluctuates every month, but when you join my community, there's a really nice events menu on the left side of the screen. You click the events menu and you can get what the upcoming events for the Rasa Leela community, what's coming up next. The community is free to join. Some of the events are free and some of the events are reserved for the Astro School students or the Q&A circle. I also do offer natal chart readings. You can go to rosalilahealing.com to schedule a reading for me. With me, I do have a waiting list, and it's probably going to be, honestly, a 6-month to a year-long wait for those who want readings. That is why I'm also doing the Q&A circle. So those of you who want to get a mini reading, you do not have to wait 6 months. You do not have to wait an entire year. You can join the $12 a month Q&A circle, and I can take a look at your chart and answer a question in our next forthcoming Q&A. All right, I'm going to stop the stream. Appreciate y'all being here. Excited for our forthcoming eclipse season. And indeed, the moon's north node in Taurus, south node in Scorpio. These are feminine signs. We're tuning into a feminine embodiment these coming years. Wishing you all very much the best.